So first and foremost, wheels actually make a car. They're just as important with or without a kit. You know, stance of a car, wheel size, perfect offset changes the balance of a car completely. When you couple it up with exterior body styling, the wheel can basically be the cherry on top. So the relationship between Urban and Vossen came after KJ reached out to us maybe around 7 years ago. They saw what we were doing, they saw our kits and reached out and said, look, we think we can do something which will complement our exterior designs in the form of a wheel. So the visit to Vossen was a little bit long overdue, and there's so many changes to their factory, their automation and what they're doing. So they invited me over to sit down with KJ, spend some time together and see their new facility.
So I am here with my man. We've been buddies for what, how long now?
About 8 years now.
8 years, yeah. This guy actually slid in my DMs.
Yeah,
literally slid in my DMs.
It works.
Did you start with, hi darling, how are you?
Shoot your shot. No, I mean, honestly, I've been a big fan of the stuff they were doing via Instagram. I'd follow Urban Automotive's page and seen a lot of the cool builds that you guys are doing.
It was early on though, wasn't it? Because we was like, at the beginning, we was just old Defenders.
Exactly.
So we wouldn't have had any interest in you whatsoever.
Right, and a lot of the cars looked cool. There was a couple of Range Rovers that you had posted, but they always had,
wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
But they always had like, I don't know if it was just like some, pretty, basic wheels, standard wheels on there, and I was like, man,
terrible wheels.
I didn't want to say it. He said it, not me,
No, terrible wheels.
But I was like, man, we could do something together. I could see these cars with our Vossen Forge wheels is what I kind of hit him up and pitched to him, pitched to Simon, via DM. And I think his response to me was like, I'd be interested, but I'd want my own line. We met at SEMA that year. That was our...
I was actually more gassed though, because like we was relatively new to the game,
right.
And you actually didn't know that.
Right.
And I was like, I got an email from Vossen. This is so cool. I was like, yeah. And you're like that. I think that they've been going for a while.
Right.
But Jav didn't even really know, did he?
Right. He didn't know. He
just said, look, I've got this brand. I want to work with them.
Right.
It's cool.
Right.
Yeah. And then I came to SEMA for
we met at SEMA, and it was just a hit. He came as the year we did our, I think it was our 10-year anniversary, and we had the enclosed booth where you kind of walked in, and once you got to the end, we had all the wheels on display, and we sat down.
It was the hide wheels at SEMA, didn't
right.
you?
Yeah, we didn't want anybody to see our stuff because a lot of people copy our stuff. So
you do know that there's a thing called a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. People can walk in and like.
Yeah, but we had it set up to where unless you had
trusted dealers only.
Yeah, trusted dealers only.
Yeah.
Like we had girls at the front scanning badges. Like if we didn't know what company you were, you weren't allowed in. Like super VIP, But yeah, we met that year at SEMA and we sat down and talked about what type of designs you'd be looking to get done. And UV1 was obviously the first one.
I wanted to do something that was a little bit not the norm for an SUV, was it? The UV1 was like a multi-spoke race wheel.
Exactly.
And at first we was like, and a few people said to me, that's never going to work. It's never going to work. And we sold thousands.
Thousands.
It was literally sold.
Still are.
Sold thousands of the wheel. So yeah, that was cool. I mean, that was the start of it, 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
We've done 5 wheels.
6 styles, yeah. Including the UVX.
Of course, yeah. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, UVX. So when we first started, obviously we did the original Defenders, and we was putting like V8 LS3 motors and things like that in them, and it just caused problems. They was all breaking down, basically. So then when we obviously got together and done lots of wheels, we've always tried to do a wheel per car, haven't we?
Right, correct.
So when we went out to multi-brand and we did Mercedes and this, a lot more brands, we were trying to design wheels around the car.
Right, exactly. not just a generic wheel, have something specific to that vehicle.
But they have actually gone out to other vehicles as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
But it's led us on to do things like, we've just done Scott Disick's Cullinan. The Cullinan was probably the biggest risk we ever made. For us to tool a car like that is, maybe $300,000 or $400,000 on the risk that, it might not even sell.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't sell to start off with, we had to do it twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. But obviously new wheels what we want to work on. What do we want to do?
When we talk about 2 new styles, one kind of catered towards the Rolls-Royce market for the new Ghost and Cullinan.
Yeah, so the swings over to new full-size range.
Exactly. And then another one that's more a Range Rover that will also work for the Rolls-Royce as well. So basically 2 styles that we're discussing.
One spoked, one flat, one flat face.
But all with floating caps. So
flat faces are like
in right now.
The thing.
Yeah.
Do you think it will last?
I don't think it'll last, but right now it's the thing. I think people eventually go back to like more classic cleaner styles, but I think for the next several years, the full face, flat face styles will continue.
It's brush clear, like, when you just basically machine the wheel and clear coat it. Is that the most popular thing?
That and gloss or satin black.
Yeah.
Every other order is, very few you might get an order for a dark smoke or titanium finish, something outside of the norm for those cars. But yeah, most of the Rolls-Royce, higher end cars, like Range Rover, Land Rover, always brush clear, gloss black, satin black.
Yeah, it's clear, like shows.
It just looks. That's my favorite.
It just shows the perfection, the art of the wheel.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So the UVX wheel was super important to our XRS project because it needed to be something unique. The design that we came up with the power ring, just gave it a little bit of a different balance, something that was never done on a Defender before. And again, the engineered art, the way Vossen cut the wheel, just finished it off perfectly. And that was one of the situations where the wheel and the kit made the car.
So the coolest thing about Keenan is when I have an idea and I give it to him, it's always in like really rough format. You see the sketches I sent to you.
Right.
So the UV1 was kind of like this race idea.
Right.
Yeah. The UV2 was more Keenan's input. He wanted something elegant for the Range Rover, big. Yeah. The UV3, I was actually walking up the steps of a plane and looked in to the engine and you could see the rotor blades at an angle. And I just thought that would make a cool wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you give him ideas like that, as long as he's got some design direction, he comes up with multiple ways of portraying what's in my head, which is cool. It's almost like he's got good telepathy.
Right.
With what's going on. Then UV4 was for G-Wagon, wasn't it?
G-Wagon and Defender. Well,
yeah, but you've done more for G-Wagon, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, well, equally, I'd say probably 50-50. I mean, it's been a real big seller for the G-Wagon market. Yeah. A lot of clients that want that off-road look with the all-terrain tires.
You do more 22s here, don't you?
22s, yeah.
Yeah, so 23s in the UK, but before we started working together, you didn't actually do many 23.
We didn't offer any 20. We brought 20, so Vossen offering 23-inch started because of you. We never offered 23-inch until the UV1 series.
And how many 23s you sold?
Maybe only 5 or 6. No,
you know what? I remember back to SEMA, and I think when I said I want 23s, you was like, really? Like,
these UK guys are crazy.
And then UV5, obviously, we did for Rolls-Royce,
right?
For the launch of that multi-spoke twist in it, which has been really popular for you and for us. Then UVX, which was for Defender.
Yeah.
We only use that on a special program in the UK. We use it on our Defender XRS, which is like our limited one of 65 cars.
Nice.
I think we've sold 45 now, so we've got 20 remaining. And then obviously we'll have UV6 and UV7.
Yeah.
The new factory, which we'll go to tour soon, like explain to me the difference. When I came last, what was it, 4 years ago?
Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, your last visit. I think we had just got our first robotic cell put in.
Just installing it. It wasn't actually up and running,
right?
Because Keenan had his head in the robot, literally.
Yeah, Keenan is our director of operations, kind of oversees all the production.
That's kind of dumbing him down. He's like a genius.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Like a wheel genius.
I mean, yeah, just put it in one word, yes.
He's wheel genius. When he comes up on the screen later, we'll put at the bottom, wheel genius.
He's really a genius, right?
Hey.
That's what we tried to do. What's this one just here? Is this one of your new flat-faced Rolls-Royce wheels?
Yeah, this is the S2112.
That's amazing.
A little bit more of an abstract concept.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there. The cutouts in here are quite complex, aren't they?
Yeah, you'll see it's to a cross-sectional.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, it's very complex, isn't it? So do things like that make them a million times so much longer? Like KJ said earlier that some wheels are priced differently because of, how complex they are.
Yeah, it's a complexity for every part of the process. This is going to be a more difficult wheel for not only machining, well, for engineering, for programming, for machining.
Finishing as well, yeah.
Finishing is going to have a big issue with this. There's a lot more surfaces to blend together, a lot more machining marks left over.
So everything takes longer, basically.
It's a
design
combination
all the way through, yeah.
Exactly, it's a combination of every part of the process.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we work on next. We've got some ideas in our head, so yeah, UV6 and UV7 coming soon. This is basically where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one with the bad jokes normally, not you.
Yeah, well, I got the dad jokes,
What's changed in the factory?
A lot. So in the last 4 years, we have a full automated powder coating cell being installed. We have another robotic cell getting set up right now to do the HF, or hybrid forge custom cast wheels, how we cut those.
You still got that rumble machine, where you like the bubbles in it.
The tumbler for the polishing? Oh yeah.
That's cool. I like watching
that's how we do all the polishing, the ceramic polishing tanks.
What does it take off, like?
Basically the wheel goes in the machine, the tumbler, there's 3 different stages, and the ceramic pellets beat on the wheel for I think a total of maybe like 8 to 9 hours. And when it's complete, the wheel comes out completely polished, yeah.
So the process from beginning to end for a wheel is how long? For a forged wheel?
For a forged wheel, I mean, if there's no other orders in queue, I mean, yeah, maybe essentially, 1 week. But with all the orders that we have in line, we usually tell customers anywhere from maybe 6 to 8 weeks at times to get a custom order completed,
And I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you tell the truth to your customers when they ask for a lead time?
Definitely do, because nothing worse when you tell somebody it's 4 weeks, knowing it's 6 weeks, and then in 4 weeks they call back and, oh, I got 2 more weeks. Like, we don't.
You're just creating headaches for yourself.
And we hear horror stories. I mean, obviously we work with a lot of different clients all over the world, and they tell us this is what some other brands will do just to get the sale, but all it's going to do is create a bad rapport for you and that dealer, where they're not going to want to push your product the next time around because you lied to them about the lead time. And we're in this for the long game. I mean, we've been in business since 2006. We're not looking to close our doors. We're not looking to sell anything like that. So we got to make sure we stay true to our people. So we keep on getting, keep our dealers coming back.
So what's the biggest? Every business has got bottlenecks. What's the biggest bottleneck in Vossen?
For us right now, I'd say it's actually maybe powder coating. I mean, we get quite a bit of orders. Yeah, we're able to machine them quickly. Even prep for whether polishing or brush.
But just the powder coating.
The powder coating, right now it's still, powder coated by hand. We've got a team that works roughly, 24 hours, 6 days a week.
Wow.
Powder coating, but
so one wheel by hand every time.
But again, like I said, you'll see downstairs our powder coating cell that we have getting set up. Once that's all complete, which is, a couple of months before that's fully up and running, we'll be able to powder coat one wheel every 3 minutes from start to finish. So that will be able to keep us up with the flow that we have.
But the complexities of that must be insane because you've got 1 million files of wheels.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's something stupid, like literally like 1 million files of wheels. You've got
I mean,
from 17 to 26 inch.
Right.
From so and so wide, it's different concaves, different depth, different lug nuts.
And that's what we did. That's, when we set this whole process up, it's not something that I guess we had, we knew it would work, but we didn't have every detail of it fine tuned, I guess you could say. And that's one of the things that we're dealing with now is getting the robots to be programmed to cut or to powder coat, whether it's a 20-inch wheel or 26. If it's a flat profile or a super deep profile, the robot needs to know
the program
how much powder
on the spoke, powder in the lugs and everything.
Exactly. So that's what we're fine tuning now. And once that's said and done, we'll be good to go.
It sounds like it's going to be a little bit AI out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Robots and
they can't replace me though.
Robots and automation.
Yeah, sales, they need us though,
Yeah, you can be replaced by an AI robot, I think.
But once that's said and done, we'll be running a lot smoother and quicker lead times for sure.
So you still got all of the normal one-off milling machines that are loaded by hand and things like that?
For sure.
How many of them?
We've got about 30 machines right now.
30 machines. So 30 milling machines, 2 big robots, automated powder coating.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this. It's going to be the coolest factory in the world.
Man, for sure. It's like watching an episode of How's That Made, but I actually want to see what they're doing. We're not making Oreos or Hershey Kisses, we're making cool wheels, So.
And for the people in the UK, they probably don't know what those 2 candy bars are you said about.
We could compare it to something else. A Hershey's Kiss, the little chocolate one that's a little, I don't know what candy you guys eat there.
Mars bars,
okay. But no, thanks again for coming, man. We'll go check out the factory and until next episode, stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh, you've just done the outro. Brilliant. See you next week, guys.
So the future for us and Vossen, obviously we have a long-term relationship. I don't see that going anywhere apart from in a positive direction. In years to come, we may be on the UV 15, 16, 17. But for now, 2 new designs focused on Range Rover and Cullinan. Obviously the newest, hottest designs that we're doing our kits for, with the release of the L460 and 461 Range Rover product. It's going to be exciting. We've got some great ideas. We've gone through the designs with Keenan and KJ, so watch this space.